If you recall, the other day we mentioned that there is this very puzzling midrash that speaks about the creation of Adam Arishon, the creation of the first man, which obviously is a creation which is a symbol of all of mankind. And we mentioned that there were many opposing forces that said either, it's a good idea to create man, or it's not a good idea to create him. He'll be too much this, he'll be too much that, and they were fighting amongst each other. Truth was saying, no, you can't trust this person, he's going to be filled with falsehood. Chesed was saying, no, you should create him because he'll end up doing chesed, he'll make free loans, even though that he's also giving out money with ribbis, but he'll still have a free loan fund in his house, and so on and so forth, until HaKadosh Baruch Hu, while all of these forces were arguing amongst each other, Hashem just took man and He created him, He brought him down here into this world. Which means that obviously HaKadosh Baruch Hu feels that the creation of man, even with all of the inner turmoil and conflict which seems to be over there, it still is a good thing for a man to be created, and through whatever conflict they're going to have to work out inside of themselves, that's going to be the defining factor of who they are. And this is going to bring us into the idea of specifically because man is made under these circumstances, where there are these disparate forces that are inside of him, where he goes, in one way he could be a great Baal Chesed, tremendous acts of kindness. In the other way, he can be a great chakra, and he can have a lot of deceit and foolishness in his life. Or that there's these compulsions for ruchnias, for spirituality. At the same time, he feels himself dragged down by the animalistic desires that are inside of him. Those opposing forces are what are going to put him in the center over here of a person that has what's called Bechira, free will. He has to make decisions in his life of what is right and what is wrong. Meaning, if we wouldn't have the forces that are opposing within ourselves, then we wouldn't really have something called free will. There would be no choice. It would be obvious either one way or the other. Either it would be obvious the right, or it would be obvious the wrong. So the fact that we have things that are pulling us in different directions and butting heads with each other, that's why we are able to have something called free will. And that's really what we're going to speak about today. So he says like this, there's a very deep correlation, or a very deep parallel between mankind and God. And there is a great similarity that exists between the two of us. Kamay Elokim, just like Hashem, Ha'adam Hu Ha'barei. Just like God Himself is the Barei, is the creator, man is also able to be a creator. Now how is that going to work? But that's what we're going to see. Bria Amitis Hi Bria Shel Yesh Me'ayin. The ultimate Bria, the ultimate creation that Hashem made is called Yesh Me'ayin, something from nothing. Right? Hashem is completely ruchni, completely spiritual. Hashem is omniscient. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is omnipotent. He is complete and He is whole and He is infinite. He is lacking absolutely nothing. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu Himself was able to create a world, Yesh Me'ayin, something from nothing. He doesn't need the world. The world is not per se an expression of Himself. He was able to make a physical world which was from nothingness came somethingness, and that's the ultimate bria. That's what creation is. When it doesn't exist and you make it, so then you're a creator. And that's why in general terms man is not a creator, because we don't make things out of nothing. We only take the materials that are in this world already. We take that which is at our disposal, and we can cut it, we can chop it, we can shape it, we can form it, we can fashion it, and we can make things out of it. Even all of the chemicals are only byproducts of different things that are in the world. So therefore, we're not really a creator. HaKadosh Baruch Hu made a world out of nothing. He created something that didn't exist before. That's creation. What we do in the physical world down here is something called Yitzira, which really means that we are shaping and we are forming. What Rav Tatz is introducing over here is that in the world of Bechira, we are like HaKadosh Baruch Hu in the way that just as Hashem is a Bari, He is a creator, which means Yesh Mi'ayin, something that never existed before, Hashem created. In the world of Bechira, the world of our free will, we are able through our decisions to take something that never existed before, and we're able to create it now for the first time. And we'll have to see how that works. This is exactly what free will is all about. I have the ability to introduce something that never was here before. I can bear fruit, I can bear forth in this world something that is chadash, something that is new. When I'm choosing one side over the other, says Rav Tatz, somehow you are connecting into creation and you are becoming a creator yourself, that you're doing something that is completely new at this time. Before we ask a lot of questions, because a lot of questions get asked, there's quite a long paragraph. I don't think we're going to see even all today, but there's a lot of explanation of it. It's that we should be able to try to understand these words. If Bechira, free will, is truly free, then by the very definition, we say like this: Bechira chofshis, which means free will. That means you are free to choose whatever you want. You are free to use your will and decide whatever you want to do in life. If it's really free, says Rabbi Tatz, that means then there could be nothing in the world that is causing you to make the decisions that you are making. If there would be a causative effect, if when you do something, you're doing it because something else is pulling you in that direction, or pushing you in a direction, or you're influenced by certain things, and that's why you're choosing, well, that's not free will, because I have other things in my life that are having an impact on the way that I'm thinking, the way that I'm feeling, the way that my emotions are riding high today or in a low state today. So it's when I make a choice, I'm making a choice that's based upon an impact of other things that are going on in my life. If that would be the case, then Bechira, then free will, is not really free, because it's either you'll call it controlled, or you'll call it influenced by many other factors that are going on in my life. But if we say that Bechira is chafshis, it is free, that means that at a point of Bechira, of a real demonstration of my decision making, it must be at that point that I'm actually making a decision for myself, free to decide whatever it is that I want, and that makes me like Hashem, because at that moment I'm creating something that never existed before. If I'm influenced into my thoughts and in my decisions, then I'm not a creator. I'm just a product of everything else in my life. So then I'm not creating anything new. I'm just taking what is already there. I'm just taking the material and I'm shaping and forming some kind of a pathway for myself. But if I'm actually choosing something in my life right now, whatever the circumstances might be, we'll have to see more details, and it's on my own that I'm making this decision, then I am a creator. Real free will must be something that's coming in and of itself, with no outer influences. It can't be working in a way that something else that existed before this moment of decision making is what's pushing me to make such a decision. That's not free will. I'm not free to do what I want. A person says, I'm free. You're free for what? If you are just a compilation or a combination of all the things that are influencing you, so there's no freedom over there. And yet we say that mankind, the very essence of what it means to be a human being is, you have free will. But if I have free will, that means that I'm creating a moment in time right now that is new and is introducing a new idea, a new power, a new strength that I have that never existed before. Taluma Sagarim Shaloi Nigram says Rav Tatz over here that this mystery, I guess that we'll call it over here, of the uncaused cause, which means that there's nothing that is causing me to do what I'm doing right now. I'm doing everything on my own. Says Rav Tatz, Sibashi Mekoris Legamri. This is a very original and Makor and a source. There's a very foundational idea. V'imzais en mikris hiamunaches b'sharasha shel kol bechira chavshis amitis. And it really lies at the heart of everything that free will is all about, which means it's real, it's not random, it's not being influenced. It's something that right now, when I'm making the following decision to do X, Y, or Z in my life, it's something that I'm creating for the first time in history of all of the entire world, the entire universe, at this very, very moment. And that really, he says, is the underpinnings and is at the heart of what Bechira Chavshis of free will is. However, if there's a decision or there's an action that a person does that is really caused by something else, whether it's b'muda, b'maida, or loy b'mada, whether it's conscious or unconscious, ayadei kol davar acher eino chavshis, or there's something else external or internal that's influenced the person to make such a decision, then like we said, by the very definition, that's not called free will. Whether you, and again, in the discipline of Musar, of learning those works which are here to help a person get deeper and understand themselves better, and peel away the layers of their personality and their character and their traits to be able to become a person that's much more in tune with themselves, part of that process is I need to start peeling away all the things that are influencing me in order that I can get down to the Makori, to the source of who I really am. And he's saying the same thing over here when it comes to Bechira. If at the end of the day I make a decision, or I think that I'm making a decision, but when I think about it, deeply, I realize the reason that I made that decision is because of the influence, of the direction, of the intensity, of the emotions, of the sphere of influence that I'm in. If that's the reason that I made that decision in my life, so then that's not really Bechira Chavshi, it's not really free will. That's really a will that is strongly impacted and influenced from everything around me. Now the question that we're going to have to deal with as we go through this book is it really possible for a person to make a decision in their life that is not based upon influences that they have already, whether they be external, internal, superficial, or meaningful? I mean, we are who we are as we are a very major compilation of everything that has existed in our lives up until this very moment. So when I'm making a decision, most likely in my decision-making process, something in there is from previous knowledge, previous impact, previous influence, and the like. So is a person really ever going to get to that point of Bechira Chavshis, of the free will? This is something for us to keep in mind because, again, the whole Torah is based upon the fact that we are Bali Bechir, we are people who have the gift of free will in our lives. And the Tats is defining free will in a very deep, penetrating way over here. And that is that if you're influenced or something else is causing you to make that decision, so then it's not really free will. And then you're not really a Bechira, you're not really created like Hashem. It's only if I can say, I'm choosing right now because this is something that it's like chadash, like brand new over here. That's what free will is going to be. That's free. I'm not bound by anything else. We'll have to see. Now, rak bechira pa'ula sheinu ba k'taitzah midav echitzeini. Only free a choice or an action that is not coming as a result of something superficial or external, that is an act or a decision of ultimate freedom. Real free will is an expression. Sharatza Makori of a deep desire inside the person, that is going to express itself in his decision that he's making, which is coming from the purest, most deepest place inside of him, which again is what makes us similar in light to the Rebbeinu Shalom, the Master of the universe. Okay, it's a very deep idea, concept. We have a lot to learn, and as we go through it, we'll begin amassing more and more information and more understanding and ideas to bring us to a much deeper clarity of how Bechira Chavshi's real free will actually works. It was wonderful learning with everybody, and I'll see you in a week and a half, God willing. Thank you. That's muffled again, sorry.